90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is 60 minutes of great local sports talk each and every Saturday morning as we visit with area coaches, athletes, and other media personnel to cover the area of sports that's most important to you. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. And good morning again, sports fans. It is Saturday morning at 8:30, and you know what that means. It's 60 minutes of great local sports talk. The Sports Couch is on the air despite all the rain. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Ouncement. And, we almost had to bring a boat to get here today, Danny, but we're here, and lots to talk about in high school football last night.
Yeah, week number 3. I think most teams got their games in. I think there's 2 or 3 games got suspended. They're going to try to finish up on Monday, but what a nasty night.
Oh, it really was. And a lot of the games, honestly, did not play the full 4 quarters. There were many, many of those games that were called last night early because the score was wide enough that both teams just agreed that, hey, it's getting late. The weather's not going to get any better. They knew they couldn't come back and play today. Nobody really wanted to come back and play Monday. So many of the games were called last night having played less than 4 quarters.
Well, you know, when you're behind 20-0, 28-0, you've not been able to get anything accomplished, and it's getting ready to start the fourth quarter or partway through the fourth quarter. Yeah, you hate to throw in the towel and give up, but sometimes reality has to set in.
It's a good thing, though, that they didn't call the game over at Triad because the Mount Vernon Rams found themselves behind Triad 17-0. They kept on playing, had a few delays and whatnot, but the Rams came from 17-0 down to win that game 25-17 and break a 23-game losing streak that spans nearly 3 full seasons. And you know Coach Jerod Kessler's got to be a happy camper this morning.
Yeah, and let's see, I heard who has the new streak. The new streak is 21.
Okay, so there's another team out there that's got one going.
Massac has lost 19 in a row.
Have they? Okay.
That's the 2 longest streaks. I forget who. I heard this morning who it was, and I forgot who it was.
Anyway, we will have Coach Jerod Kessler of the Rams on the show with us around the top of the hour, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to visit with Coach Justin Townsend of the Fairfield Mules here in just a little bit. Now, the Mules were one of 4 games that were played on Thursday night. Probably a smart thing to do, although they had rain there too, as they won their game down at Christopher. And they really only played one half down there and won at 52-0. We'll talk to Coach Townsend about that. Also on the show with us will be Brian Tackitt, the head coach of the Flora Wolves. They lost a game last night. They led for a while, but then let that one slip away. We'll talk to him about that. We'll talk to Coach Jeff Rush of the Hamilton County Foxes. They tried to get that game in last night. They did play the game. I don't know if they played it in its entirety, but it ended one way or another, and the Foxes came up short on the road at Chester. That's a long trip, too. long trip.
Chester, Illinois. There is no good way to get here.
Yeah, and when you're there, you got to worry about the river rising, too. I mean, literally, you do.
Yeah, you're
so
right
anyway, that game is concluded. I don't know if they played the full 4 quarters or not. We'll find out. We talked to Coach Rush, but we also want to talk to him about their big win last week, because Foxes did get a big win last week.
Yeah, they got a nice win at home there last week, and it'll be interesting to hear his thoughts.
And we're going to try to squeeze in a little bit of time this morning with Coach Joe Rivers of the Edwards County Lions, too, because they got a big win last night against Carmi. What a big win for their program over at Albion.
Yeah, you know, that was a little surprising score when it came across this morning. Carmi Bulldogs seem to be struggling a little bit.
Speaking of the scores, Danny's going to run through the scoreboard for you right now, which you can also check out on our sports website at AreaSports.net. And while Danny does that, I'm going to get Coach Townsend on the air with us.
The Fairfield Mules moved to 3-0 with a 52-0 win at Christopher. Edwards County defeated Carmi 12-6 last night. Chester 34, Hamilton County 6. Big game, Cesar-Valeria Red Devils go to El Dorado, and they moved to 3-0, 28-16. Johnson City gets their first win over Vienna, 16-6. As Randy said, Mount Vernon gets their first win, 25-17 over Triad. Cahokia beat Bethalto, 26-0. Breeze Mater Dei put a thumping on Belleville Altoff. Altoff is 0-3 to start the season, 47-0. Carbondale beat Waterloo, 13-7. Jerseyville over Centralia, 21-14. Highland over Marion, 49-14. Murfreesboro beat Carterville, or that's suspended till Monday, 13-7 in the third quarter. West Frankfort over Sparta, 19-12. Anna Jonesboro 28, Massac 7. Pinckneyville scores late to beat Benton 23-20. Boonville, Indiana 34, Harrisburg Bulldogs 0. DuQuoin beats Heron in overtime 31-25, Randy.
That was a late game.
That game was tied at the end of regulation.
Yep.
And they had to go to the locker room for an hour and 15 minutes and came back, and DuQuoin was able to pick up the win.
Late night.
Nashville defeated Trenton Westland 54-0.
And in the little Illini, Flora lost to Robinson 24-12. Paris over Lawrenceville 63-zip. Newton over Casey 21-7. Red Hill over Olney 8-7. And Marshall went out of the conference last night and beat Clinton also by that score of 8-7. Again, you can check out those scores on our sports website at AreaSports.net. Well, the Fairfield Mules, again, they played Thursday night. There were 4 different games in our area played on Thursday night. The Mules and Christopher was one of them. And Fairfield went down and took care of business against CZR. Again, a wet night down there Thursday night, too. 52-0, the final, and Coach Justin Townsend joins us right now. Good morning, Justin. How are you?
I'm doing good, guys.
Good. Great to have you on the show. You got a little bit more sleep last night, not having a football game to coach, right?
Yeah, well, we went and scouted last night.
Ah.
We took advantage of that. We went and saw Kessler and El Dorado.
Boy, that was a good game.
2 pretty good football teams there, definitely. And
Yeah.
I had one of my other assistant coaches, Coach Lyons. He went and watched Edwards County Carmine, other nice football game. So, any time that you're able to actually get out and watch it other than on film, I think that's big. I just like to be able to see teams in person and kind of get a gauge for things. And
yeah.
So we definitely took advantage of that last night. As you mentioned, we got our game in on Thursday for the most part. It's kind of one of those things, you want to be proactive.
Right.
But this storm, it's really been unpredictable. I think it changed 2 or 3 times just on the way down to Christopher Thursday night when I thought we'd have a window to play.
Right.
It changed about every 30 minutes, so it was kind of a wild night, but we were glad that we got it in and got out of there healthy, and we're sitting 3-0 right where we wanted to be.
Yeah, and Danny and I were just talking. We're looking at the standings here in the Black Diamond, and every single team in the conference now has a win except for Christopher. So every team has got one win. So it's kind of been an interesting season already after week 3.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when I was waiting on your guys' call, that it's been kind of wild season already. I mentioned Edwards County. That was a big win for them last night. Johnston City, what a huge win for them over Vienna.
Right.
And now Vienna's probably maybe scratching their head a little bit. I think, they were a team maybe I thought, playoffs, or maybe a sleeper in the conference. And, which when we played Johnston City week 1, they showed signs that they could be a pretty good football team. They have some nice weapons, and Coach Thomas is obviously getting them better each week. So, I just thought that was a huge win for them, and Edwards County, they're wanting to get in the playoffs, and I think that win over Conroe is going to go a long way to possibly getting that for them. So, I think the conference is very interesting. As I mentioned, I saw Kessler El Dorado last night. We got them at the end of the year, week 8 and week 9, and those are going to be 2 good playoff football teams. So it's going to be interesting as we get through the middle part and down on the end of the stretch of the season.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned earlier it's nice to be able to go watch. You get a lot better feel for the actual size and speed of kids in live game action, don't you?
Yeah, and then you're able to compare it with film, and you can kind of gauge some things a lot better. And a lot of times you don't realize maybe how many guys are going both ways or playing special teams and things like that. And just to see it in person, and maybe the tempo that they want to run offensively, those are the things that I like to see. And plus, I like to go watch football, so it's kind of fun from that point of view as well.
Well, you got a team that's doing well both offensively and defensively, and what more can you say about Reese Lee? I mean, that guy has really been doing it too, both offensively and defensively, and he was named the Player of the Week by Channel 3 this past week as well. And you got to be proud of his effort, and as well as all the Mules.
Yeah, absolutely. This team, really, the true definition of team. We have a lot of guys doing a lot of good things right now. You mentioned recently was selected Channel 3 Co-Player of the Week. We've never had anybody receive that honor, so that's awesome. And he had last week. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, over 100 yards rushing. Also had 2 interception returns for touchdowns. Had another one Thursday night against Christopher. So he's had 3 interception returns for touchdowns in the past 2 weeks. So obviously tremendous. Our defense is doing a great job. We're great in turnovers, and offensively we're mixing in the run and the pass, and we're kind of hitting on all cylinders right now, and that's what you want to be doing. Rolling into week 4, you want to be healthy, you want to be hitting on all cylinders, and I feel like we're doing that. And the fact that we were able to get that game in Thursday night and get an extra night of recovery, kind of in the middle of the season, to me that's a huge for us. We work hard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with conditioning and preparing, and so when we got that call Wednesday at 2:00 that we were playing on Thursday, I'd kind of already put our kids through the ringer as far as practice, so we had to really scale things back Wednesday afternoon and hope that we'd be fresh enough to come out and take care of business on Thursday. And of course, our kids responded like they always do.
And for those that are listening and watching right now, let's walk through how that is decided. Whenever you move a game like that to a Thursday night, that's got to be something that's agreed upon by both parties, correct?
Absolutely. Christopher called, mid Wednesday morning and talked with our AD, Mr. Wells, and of course he talked to me and wanted my thoughts on it. And my big thing is let's be proactive. If there's a chance that we can get it in Thursday, let's go ahead and try to get this in. And if for some reason it doesn't work out Thursday, you can move it back to Friday. If it doesn't work out Friday, you move. It gives you an extra day. And that's how I view at it. As long as you can get officials, that's always the big question mark.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's probably not going to get better as the years move on. That's the big thing. And then both schools got to agree on it, and you got to make sure you have appropriate transportation, and then you kind of got to do a double check of the weather and hope that everything works out. I mean, we pulled up to Christopher at about 10 till 6, and you would have thought we were in a hurricane. There was pop-up tents flying all over the place, and it was pretty wild. But it calmed down. We were able to kick off. Actually, we kicked off a little bit early, about 10 till 7. Got in, I think, about a half a quarter, had a 30-minute lightning delay, but then we were able to get back on the field. And we got our first half in, and we were up big, and the field was starting to deteriorate a little bit, and it was a mutual decision by both administrators, both coaching staffs, that it was probably the game was not in question, and it was probably just best if we called it at that point and moved on. So like I said, I was glad we were able to get it in and get out of there healthy, and now looking back, it worked out pretty well. I know there were some delays down south, and I think it was at Murfreesboro, Carterville. We're going to start back up on Monday. So,
right.
Who knows what would have happened if we would have played last night? It may have been fine, but the fact that we're able to get it in Thursday and get it over with and move on, that was definitely a positive thing. Yeah,
there's at least 3 games that are going to resume on Monday, and you wouldn't want to be in one of those situations where you're trying to come back and play Monday.
Probably the number one thing Mr. Wells came to talk to me about. I said, I don't want to be playing on Monday night. I don't want to be playing on a short week.
Right.
It's one thing to play a day early, but it's another thing when you're playing on a Monday and then you're going to turn around and play. For us, it would have been playing a much improved Hamilton County team on Monday, or playing Christopher and then playing a much improved Hamilton County team on Friday.
Right.
I wasn't wanting to do that.
No.
As any coach, I don't think that you ask any of those coaches, they're probably not really excited about playing Monday night.
No.
What are you going to do at this point?
Right. And those games are all still within question because those are close games, and so they need to play them out.
what's interesting about that, and you mentioned it, a lot of those games are still in question. What adjustments do those coaches make, now that they've essentially, I think a lot of them have played about a half of football, and now they're going to come back.
Right.
And, it's like a whole nother game, a whole nother scenario. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well.
Yeah, it really will. Well, we didn't get a chance to talk together last week on the show because we didn't have a show last week as we had Labor Day. So I want to go back and talk about your Week 2 game against Chester. And, when people look at that score, 50-26, they think, oh, man, the Mules just steamrolled Chester. But that really wasn't the case. That was a tough football game, wasn't it?
No, I said this multiple times, whether, via other media outlets, that Chester Week 2 was a big concern for me. I spent a lot of time as a staff prepping for that game. Not overlooking Johnston City, but kind of in the back of our mind, knowing that Chester was going to be a really big game for us Week 2. And with what they got coming back, I saw some of their linemen at a lift meet in the spring, and they had a good core group, big, strong kids, and I just knew that would be a big game for us. And so, the first half, it was back and forth. And, I'll give Chester a lot of credit. They gave us their best shot. They hit some big plays in the passing game. We were able to keep doing what we do offensively. And I think, the second half, what it boiled down to is I think we kind of physically wore them down a little bit, even though they were the bigger, maybe more physical team initially. Our kids just kept coming, and I think our depth helped, and we wore them down physically, and we finally started getting some pressure on their quarterback, Meyer, who's a heck of a quarterback.
Yes, he is.
And that really changed the complexion of the game. I mean, now that said, we had a couple of their touchdowns in the first half were broken coverages on our part, mistakes on our part, and they made plays and made us pay for it. And we made a few adjustments at half, but the big thing that changed in the second half was we were able to start getting – we completely shut down the rushing game, but we were able to start getting some pressure on him. And like I said, it worked out for the best. Reese Lee had a couple interception returns for touchdowns, and then we just grinded it out on offense. So super proud of our kids for that effort because that was a big win. We had some guys cramping. They had some guys cramping. It was pretty steamy out. But, I think our depth and our conditioning really paid off in that game.
Yeah. So the Mules are now 3-0, and you come back to the friendly confines of the Train Yard next week, or this coming week, as you'll host the Hamilton County Foxes, which, as you mentioned, very much improved. And what concerns you the most about the Foxes going into that game?
Just talking with a few coaches, I've heard that their front seven are pretty good defensively. And, Hamilton County always has some kids that like to hit. So we're going to have to be ready to go. No doubt about that. Coach Fresh is a tremendous coach, and he'll have them prepped and ready to roll for us. And for our kids, we only have 4 regular season home games, and we've already had 2. So,
right.
We got this one, and then we're not at home again until week 8, which will be homecoming and senior night and El Dorado all at once. So it's important for us to come out and play well. Kind of get back in our routine a little bit. That was another factor this week with Labor Day. The kids weren't in school Monday, so we practiced late Monday night. And, then there's a JV game on Tuesday, so you don't have your sophomores. And so really that Wednesday was the only prep day we had. So, it's going to be nice to get back in the routine Monday and get rolling on things and get back to Fairfield. But, Hamilton County is much improved, and they got that good junior class, and we're going to have to be ready to roll.
Mm-hmm. All right, Coach. Well, again, we appreciate your time this morning. Again, congratulations on the win Thursday night down at Christopher, moving to 3-0 on the season, and we look forward to talking to you next week following the game against the Foxes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. It's Coach Justin Townsend of the Fairfield Mules. Again, they played on Thursday night. Probably a good thing to do, and not knowing what this storm was going to do, that's for sure. Because some of those games last night were very, very late, and at least 3 games are still not concluded yet and are close enough that they are still in question and are having to be played on Monday. And that's, boy, you didn't want to be part of that, that's for sure. So Good move by the Mules playing on Thursday night, I think, and they win it over Christopher, having just played one half, but both teams mutually called the game after Fairfield won at 52-0. And Mules now 3-0 on the season. And as I mentioned earlier, every team in the Black Diamond Conference except Christopher has at least one win now. So it's been a very interesting start to the Black Diamond season so far here after just 3 weeks. So when we come back, we're going to catch up with Coach Jeff Rush of the Hamilton County Foxes, talk about their game last night and their game last week, too, a big win they got in week 2, and also as they prepare for the Mules. That's all coming up. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Underwriting on the Vine is provided by B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon. B&C Bicycle Fitness specializes in bikes for the beginning rider to the high-end racer and can equip you with a comfortable bike to enjoy a healthy, active lifestyle with family and friends. B&C Bicycle Fitness is a full-service bicycle shop and is located at 410 South 27th Street in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 816-4077. B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon, where the adventure begins.
Sometimes you need an attorney who can look out for your interest. Located just a short drive away in Mount Vernon, Olson and Reeves offer a free consultation to discuss your needs. Everything is discreet and confidential. At Olson and Reeves, they can provide you with consultation and assistance with traffic law and DUIs, estate planning, living wills, divorce, real estate contracts, personal injury and accidents, as well as medical malpractice. Call Olson and Reeves, attorneys at law in Mount Vernon at 316-7322.
This is Kima for Meager Pest Control. We are honored to partner in radio ministry with 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine. Meager Pest Control is Christian-owned and veteran-owned and offers effective pest control services using industry-leading products with proven methods of application. Meager Pest Control covers your residential and commercial pest control needs.
Call my daddy at 315-5212 or find us on Facebook. Meager Pest Control!
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson live in studio. Danny had to step out of the studio here for a bit, but we want to move on with the show and visit now with head coach Jeff Rush of the Hamilton County Foxes. Coach Rush, are you back from Chester yet, or are you still on the bus?
We just got off the bus a couple hours ago. So
oh, my goodness sakes.
We're back. We probably rolled in about 12:30. So
is that right?
Yeah, but, you know, I told him when we got there, I said, I'm not taking the bus back. I said, we got to figure out a way to finish. So I didn't want to spend 8 hours on the bus.
Right.
If we were in, I mean, you can look outside. So,
yeah.
I mean, this is what we'd be playing in right now. So I think we did the right thing by sticking it out.
Well, and you sure didn't want to go back down there again Monday either.
Oh, I didn't want to do that.
No.
That wouldn't have benefited either team. So
yeah.
It's one of those things. I just think it was better. We'll get rest this way and try to get ready for Fairfield.
Yeah, so you did get all 4 quarters in, though. You finally did.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did. We got everything done.
Okay, all right. So 34-6 was the final. Chester wins it over your Foxes. Chester, of course, always a tough place to go and play. I mean, it's a long bus ride, and then when you have the weather and that sort of thing, and then, of course, they kind of had a chip on their shoulder coming into that game because they came in 0-2, and so I'm sure they were ready.
Yeah, they were, and they're a good football team. They put together a good game. We had a tough time getting things going in the first quarter. We came out later on after the lightning delay, and we played much better. You know, some of those points, they had a kickoff return for, you know, a touchdown and basically a block punt for a touchdown, and they hit a long pass. So they had 3 big plays early on that really, you know, stick to us. So that once we got over that, we actually played fairly well, and especially defensively. Offensively, we're sharp, and we've got to figure out a way to move the ball a little bit better.
Well, when you get into a weather situation like that, I mean, it kind of changes your game plan a little bit, doesn't it? Because if you're wanting to pass at all, it makes it really difficult in weather like that.
Yeah, and the problem was that we were having a tough time up front. They have a big defensive line, and we were having a tough time getting some holes open, especially early. So it really limited a lot of things that we could do.
Well, we didn't have a chance to visit last week on the show because we didn't have a show because of Labor Day weekend. We were out of town, but we want to back up a little bit and talk about your big win last week in Week 2 because you picked up a huge win over Johnson City, 18-14. Tell us about that.
We played a very good first half, especially. Came up big in the second half, late in the second half. I think both teams were struggling with some turnovers, and in the first, really kind of a wet environment. Even though it wasn't raining, it was still so damp from the air and everything, the grass, the dew on the grass, that type of thing. And it's the first time some of our young linemen have been in a situation like that. So we had a little bit of trouble with the snap and start at the quarter. We struggled there trying to move the ball late. We got some very, very good defensive play late in the fourth quarter, about midway through the fourth quarter, and was able to move the ball real well in the last 3 or 4 minutes to really set things up. So I was real happy with how resilient we were in that game because we could have let someone slip away, and the kids didn't. The kids worked hard, and they didn't let it slip away, and they got the win.
Well, and I don't know how many years it's been since the Foxes beat Johnson City, but I'd say it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I was coaching the last time we did it, so it's been a while. I think I told the kids I think we've once in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I knew it'd been a long time. And now as you look at the standings here in the Black Diamond Conference after we've completed 3 weeks, every single team in the Black Diamonds got at least one win except for Christopher. So it's been a really interesting first 3 weeks of the season, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been. And, even last night, Johnson City pulls off a win last night.
Right.
And, so the middle part of the conference right now is extremely competitive. I mean, you still have Fairfield and Kessler at the top. And, and I include Chester in that. I really thought Chester did really well, and they have a very good team. Like you said, they really needed that game last night, and they brought it. So those are the things that we have to get better at and realizing where we're at.
Well, as you prepare now for your next opponent in Week 4, you're going to go to the train yard in Fairfield and take on the Mules. What concerns you most about that Fairfield bunch?
Well, their skill positions are very good. Their line is good as usual, and they're very quick in just about every position. So those are the big things that we struggle with, and we're just going to have to try to figure out a way to move the football and try to keep it in our hands for a while. So those are issues that we've got to come up with. We've got to reduce turnovers. Although last night wasn't a good indicator, we seem to have had a couple of turnovers that I'm not real happy with here lately. And hopefully we can get that solved.
Did you come out of the game at Chester last night healthy?
Yeah, I think so. We didn't seem to have anybody banged up too much. You got typical stuff, cuts and getting stepped on and stuff like that happens in a game. So more contact. There's no ligament injuries or anything like that. So it's more contact.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, Coach, we appreciate your time this morning, and we look forward to talking to you again down the line, and best of luck as you prepare for Fairfield next week, okay?
Oh, okay. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. It's Coach Jeff Rush of the Hamilton County Foxes. Again, wow. What a late night for them last night as they were on the road at Chester. And you heard him say, there's no way they really wanted to come back and play today or Monday. And so they stayed there late into the night. And, I mean, it was really late. That game wasn't over, I know, way past my bedtime. And but they did play it all 4 quarters. And Chester won it over Hamilton County by a score of 34-6. That's the first win on the season for Chester after they start off 0-2, so they're now 1-2. The Foxes are also 1-2. And Hamilton County travels to the train yard in Fairfield next week to take on the 3-0 Fairfield Mules. Well, a big win last night for the Mount Vernon Rams as they broke a 23-game losing streak as they went on the road at Triad last night. They were behind 17-0, came back and won that game in that crazy weather on the road, hostile environment, 25-17. And we will talk to a very happy Coach Jerod Kessler when we come back after station identification and a word from some of our sponsors. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.
Music and ministry on The Vine is provided by Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency specializes in providing your life, health, auto, and home insurance, as well as complete financial services. They are located at 4121 South Water Tower Place in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-1421, and their website is tonywilt.com. We are grateful for their underwriting support.
Are you going out of town for a vacation or a weekend getaway? What are you going to do with your dog? That's easy. There's Jaggers Doggy Daycare in Mount Vernon. Jaggers Doggy Daycare is your one-stop shop for overnight dog boarding, doggy daycare, as well as dog grooming and obedience dog training. It's your dog's home away from home. They will thrive and they'll get one-on-one attention by a great staff. More information is available on the web at jaggersdoggydaycare.com. Jaggers Doggy Daycare, 414 Main Street in Mount Vernon.
Crawford Plumbing, LLC in Woodlawn is licensed, bonded, insured, and ready to serve your household and business plumbing needs. From leaky faucets to complete plumbing systems and repair, Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a full-service plumbing company. They can be reached at 618-242-3360. Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a proud underwriting sponsor of Real Life Radio.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio. Danny had to step away, and so we will carry on solo here this morning on the Sports Couch. Boy, what a night last night over at Troy, Illinois, Triad High School. The Mount Vernon Rams found themselves behind 17-0, but they came roaring back in bad weather, hostile environment, win the game 25-17 to break a 23-game losing streak. Boy, oh boy, what a night for Coach Jerod Kessler and the Mount Vernon Rams. He joins us on the phone right now. Good morning, Jerod. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us, and congratulations. What a big win for your Rams. You've got to be absolutely thrilled and so proud of the guys.
Oh, yeah. Very happy for the kids. They put in a lot of work, and it's good to get a win and let them know that they're a good team, and they should have a lot more coming.
Well, we joined you a couple times earlier in the season, and when we were talking there at week one, I mean, one of the things that you talked about was you got to change the culture and you got to work on the mental game. And mental is such an important part of this game we play called football. And last night, that really proved itself because you're along the sidelines there. You're down 17-0. You've had a couple of touchdowns called back. And it's raining, you're in a hostile environment, it'd be pretty easy to just pack it in and say, well, it's another loss. But that's not what your guys did. They were mentally tough last night, weren't they?
Yeah, that's the culture we've been working on is fighting through adversity. And we had a lot of adversity that first half. And come halftime, we we just talked to the kids about, are we gonna stay the way we have been and roll over and like you said, pack it in, or are we gonna fight? And the kids got together and they supported each other and got guys that were kind of dragging a little bit, pumped up, and came out in the second half and did what we needed them to do, and it's good to see that the hard work paying off from those coaches, talking about culture and mental toughness, and they showed it last night, and just very proud of them.
Well, you really had to be. But walk us through some of the highlights of the game. I know, like I said, you were down 17-0, and you had a couple of touchdowns called back. That had to be disappointing, maybe some questionable calls. And it was a tough situation for you, but you kept on working hard at it. So walk us through some of those highlights, fighting back.
Yeah, that's having a couple touchdowns called back, was very disappointing. We were pretty upset with some of the calls and at the start of the game, and it happens. I mean, you gotta be able to fight through that. But defense had a big play, in the third quarter, and was able to strip the ball and take it 60 yards or so for a touchdown, and that was very important to our team, and we like I said, went into half, and we felt like that the first half was just not our half, and we talked about the second half being our half, and we came out in the second half and had another defensive touchdown, and the guys got really excited, and they could smell that victory, and got a blocked punt and scooped it up for a touchdown, and then the offense came out and scored another touchdown. I mean, this one they actually counted and kind of helped take that 8-point lead and help finish the game for us.
Well, that is so important whenever both sides of the ball are clicking like that. Like you said, you scored the 2 defensive touchdowns, which were huge, and then that kind of motivated the offense, and then they score. And then you knew that once you got the lead, those guys were so determined they were not going to let Triad come back because they buckled down after that, and there's no way they were going to relinquish that lead, were they?
Right. I mean, I got worried a little bit, there at the end, but Triad's a great running team, and playing in the rain like that, it suits them well, and it doesn't suit our offense as well, but our offense kept plugging away and doing their jobs. I mean, the 115 yards and penalties, I believe was what we ended up having, is not something I want to see, but we fought through that, and defense just stepped it up at the end and finished the game off. I mean, like I said, Triad's a great running team. They had somewhere around 250 yards still rushing, and they had the one big touchdown for about 89 yards. So, we just buckled down defensively, and that last drive they had where they had a couple big runs and got inside the 30 or the 20. I can't remember where it was, but we stayed with what was working, and we knew they'd make a mistake, and the way we were playing our defense and aggressively, and it paid off, and it's good to see defense on the field at the end of the game.
You bet. Well, I know that you have not been there for all 23 of those losses in that streak, but I know that your phone had to light up, your text messages, your calls, your tweets, Facebook messages. I'm sure you have heard from people all over the place congratulating you on that win last night, and what a turnaround, and the start of what can be some special things there at Mount Vernon. So congratulations, and I'm sure a lot of people have contacted you, haven't they?
Oh yeah, the support is great. Coaching here, years ago, with Coach Shaner, there was always a lot of great community support. Even when times are bad, the community's always there, and it's good to hear from them. Parents from JCSA football program congratulating us, and that's good to hear. And old coaches that I've coached with from back in the day, but just having that community support, is always great to hear. And the kids need it. I think the kids really like to see their community backing them, and I think they feel that right now, and they're excited, and as long as we can keep it going, and got a good team next week that's struggling with Belleville, Altoff, and we're going to start preparing for them and try to keep the train going.
Yeah, you mentioned Belleville Altoff coming in next week. They are 0-3. They're struggling a little bit, so you may be catching them at the right time, but it opens up South 7 Conference play next week. And your guys have got to be coming in now with a lot of confidence, especially winning that game last night on the road, hostile environment, in the rain, coming from behind. Boy, oh boy, when you can do that, that gives you so much confidence heading into that game next week against the Crusaders.
Yeah, I feel we got to keep that momentum going. I talked to the coaches. It was early this morning. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning when I ended up, doing laundry. We had to get the uniforms cleaned, and so while we were washing uniforms this morning, we talked about having a big practice week, and keeping the kids motivated, but focused. And I know they want to celebrate this win, for a long time. But we feel there's more wins in our future, and we got to get them to refocus on next week. And it's very important for us coaches to put good practice plans together and make sure they're progressing in their drills.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're planning on next week to hopefully get another victory, and we feel we got a good shot. I haven't seen Altoff on film yet. I'd like to see why they're struggling and what are the issues they're having. Because usually Altoff's a great team, and
right,
and seeing them struggle like they are right now is surprising, and like a lot of teams, I mean, you just never know when it's going to click, and they might get into a flow with us and start clicking, and we got to be prepared for that, and we can't look past them at all, and we got to just prepare for them really well this week, and hopefully get another win.
Well, that game, of course, will be at home at Ken Hunt Stadium, so we want to encourage all Ram fans to come out there in Mount Vernon at Ken Hunt Stadium to watch the victorious Mount Vernon Rams try to extend that winning streak to 2 as they host Belleville Altoff in South 7 Conference play next week. So, again, congratulations, Jerod, on the win last night. Keep it rolling, and we look forward to talking to you down the line, okay?
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Coach Jerod Kessler of the Mount Vernon Rams breaking a 23-game losing streak that extended into 3 seasons. Wow, what a win last night on the road at Triad, winning that game 25-17. And bear in mind they had 2 touchdowns called back last night. Wow, what a night. What a night, what a win. So happy for them, happy for the program and the players, and hopefully they can keep it going. Hey, we're going to try to squeeze in a couple more coaches this morning. We're going to be talking with Coach Brian Tackitt of the Flora Wolves. I'm going to see if we can get a hold of Joe Rivers of the Edwards County Lions. That's all coming up on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
Monthly financial support of local Christian radio is provided by Home Source Warehouse in Mount Vernon. Located 4 miles north of Mount Vernon on Route 37, Home Source Warehouse offers a warehouse full of quality furniture and mattresses with legendary service. Open Thursday and Friday 10 to 6, Saturday 10 to 3. You can find them on Facebook, and their website is homesourcewarehouse.net. Their phone number is 204-5515. Home Source Warehouse, where style is affordable.
Sometimes you need an attorney who can look out for your interest. Located just a short drive away in Mount Vernon, Olson and Reeves offer a free consultation to discuss your needs. Everything is discreet and confidential. At Olson and Reeves, they can provide you with consultation and assistance with traffic law and DUIs, estate planning, living wills, divorce, real estate contracts, personal injury and accidents, as well as medical malpractice. Call Olson and Reeves, attorneys at law in Mount Vernon at 316-7326. And welcome back to the Sports Couch. Here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio. Also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio, and a big game last night in the Black Diamond Conference. Well, several big games in the Black Diamond, for sure. Edwards County Lions, a huge win last night against the Carmi Bulldogs. Lions win it by a score of 12-6, and a very happy Coach Joe Rivers of Edwards County joins us right now. Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Good morning. Doing fine.
Have you dried out yet after that win last night? I mean, it was raining a bunch.
Yeah, it rained quite a bit. Had a couple delays to start the game. Got started a little late, and I think I stayed pretty well wet until this morning sometime.
Yeah. Hey, that's a huge win, though, for your program. Lions win at 12-6. Walk us through what happened in that game.
It was a little sloppy on the field. Our field held up really good, though, which I was really happy with. And our guys played a great game defensively, and that kind of propelled us over the top.
Yeah, okay. Well, you got to do it both offensively and defensively, and obviously you guys must be clicking on both cylinders because Carmi, year in, year out, has got a great football team, and to hold them to 6 points, I think, is pretty good for your defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Simon does a great job down there with fundamentals and doing things the right way. I've always had a lot of respect for him. And their team, was well coached, and we had to battle that all night and get past that, and we did a good job. Offensively, we played pretty well. We had, a couple turnovers that were inopportune times and some things not go our way in the game, but we stayed, in years past we would kind of let those things snowball on us, and this year we've kind of came over the hump and not letting things snowball and just staying in the game and keeping our heads down and going.
Well, you're now 2-1 on the season as you won in Week 1 over Hamilton County 22-6. You lost there in Week 2 to a very good Kessler team 24-6. And then you get the win last night, so you're 2-1 on the season. If I were to tell you at the beginning of the year you'd win two of your first 3 games, would you take it?
Absolutely.
So you got to be happy with where you're at right now heading into Week 4.
Yeah, we are for sure, and there's a lot of things we can still improve on, and we're going to get back to work on Monday and get better. That's what we need to do.
Well, you'll go on the road this next week against Christopher, a chance for you to pick up another win down there as they've been struggling this year. In fact, they're the only team in the conference that doesn't have a win, and that's an interesting statistic because every team in the Black Diamond's got at least one win now except for CZR.
Yeah, it is interesting. A lot of teams are at least getting in the win column, and I'm not exactly 100% sure. I'm actually sitting here watching some film right now, so I'm kind of learning what I need to learn for next week right now. All the coaches are kind of doing that this morning, getting our film sessions in before we meet, and we'll see what we got to go into next week in CZR, and we'll go down there and do our best to get it done. Mm-hmm.
So you're 2-1. You got Fairfield and the Kessler both sitting here at 3-0. You've played Kessler. How good are they this year?
They're like Carmi. They're a well coached team. I thought we had some things not go our way, and we had some turnovers that hurt us again last week, and I think we were probably a little closer as far as score to them it turned out at the end. But they're a pretty good team, no question about it. They got some really solid players, some good running backs. They're going to be a force to get near the top of the conference, I think, for sure.
Have you come out of these first 3 weeks fairly healthy? Any major injuries at all? Is everybody pretty healthy on the Lions?
We've got some dings. We got one kid with a little bit of rib bruising, and running backs had coming off of ACL surgery, and he's had a little issue. He dislocated his shoulder last week against Kessler at the end of the first quarter, and he played this week with a brace on, and we didn't play him every play, but he played okay, and we got better. So hopefully next week he's a little closer to 100%. So we've got a few little things here and there, but I think we'll overcome.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate your time this morning. We'll let you go. But, again, congratulations on a big win last night for your football program, beating Carmi 12-6 to improve to 2-1 on the year. And best of luck next week as you prepare for Christopher. All right.
All right. Thanks, Randy.
All right, Joe. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
That's Joe Rivers, head coach of the Edwards County Lions, as they improved to 2-1 on the season. Again, a big win for their program last night. I don't know how long it's been. I should have asked him that, how long it's been since Edwards County beat Carmi. They haven't always been in the conference, so I don't know how many times they've actually played each other either, for that matter. But anytime you beat the Carmi Bulldogs and Coach Simon, you got to be doing something right. That's for sure. Hey, coming back, we're going to turn to the Little Illini Conference here in just a bit as we talk to Coach Brian Tackitt of the Flora Wolves. We'll talk about their game last night and what they got coming up in Week 4. That's all coming up here on The Vine and AreaSports.net. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
The radio ministry of 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine appreciates the underwriting support of Guero's Mexican Restaurant in Mount Vernon. Guero's offers the finest Mexican cuisine in a pleasant and inviting atmosphere in the heart of Mount Vernon's downtown. They are open 7 days a week, 11 to 9 Sunday through Thursday, and 11 to 10 Friday and Saturday. They are located at 222 South 9th Street in Mount Vernon. You can find them on Facebook, and their phone number is 315-6369.
Hamilton County Flooring on the south side of the square in McLeansboro offers a full line of flooring, cabinets, and countertops for your home or business. Countertops or showers are available in granite, quartz, corian, custom marble, or ceramic tile. Their showroom includes a complete line of flooring available in ceramic tile, cork, bamboo, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and carpeting, including name brands such as Armstrong, Bruce, Marazzi, Mulligan, Shaw, and Tackitt. We thank Hamilton County Flooring in McLeansboro for their support. And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio. Also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites at AreaSports.net, where we have live video streaming right now, and also we have live audio streaming on WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson live in studio. Danny had to step away, and we're going to talk about some Little Illini Conference football action right now. In the conference last night, it was Paris over Lawrenceville 63-0, Newton over Casey Westfield 21-7. Red Hill beat Olney 8-7, and Marshall stepped out of the conference last night to beat Clinton, also by that same score of 8-7. Meanwhile, the Flora Wolves lost to Robinson by a score of 24-12. I'm sure plenty of rain was falling there as well. Let's find out as we talk to Coach Brian Tackitt of the Wolves. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Oh, just fine. So a wet night there with your game last night as well, I assume?
No, it was not. We had
Really?
a few sprinkles in the third quarter, but I checked the radar at halftime. It was sitting there south of us.
Uh-huh.
Thought the second half it might come into play, but, man, it never did.
No kidding.
Yeah, it didn't rain on us at all.
How about that? Well, I noticed that your game seemed to be moving along, pretty much on time, so I kind of wondered about that if you were getting any rain.
Yeah, I checked the radar, in between every class I had yesterday, I was checking and seeing what the updated was, and the chance of rain kept decreasing throughout the day up there at Robinson. Not so much, at our place, but,
Right.
I guess we were just far enough north of it that we got pretty lucky.
So maybe a good thing it was played in Robinson and not at Flora, or weather might have been a little tougher, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that could have been. And I know someone there on the sideline said just even at Olney it was pouring at the beginning of the game, and I think Olney and Newton went through a bit of a delay, so we were fortunate where we were at.
Well, walk us through the game last night. I think, didn't you lead for a while in that game, I thought?
Yes, we did. For a second week in a row, it was scoreless first quarter. So, the defensive guys are happy, offensive guys not so much. But we were able to. We struck first in the second quarter, had a nice drive, and got our freshman receiver in the end zone. Nice throw from our quarterback Quentin in the back corner of the end zone. We got up 6-0. They scored on their next two drives, though, had a field goal and then a touchdown. So they were up 10-6. And with about 20 seconds to go in the first half, we retook the lead at 12-10, almost like just a mirror image of what we had done in our prior touchdown with Quentin throwing the ball in the back of the end zone to Cole. And so we led 12-10 and led 12-10 for a big part of the third quarter, too. Really felt like we was in a good spot. We were driving down the field and roll out with our quarterback, and he was trying to buy time, and then hit somebody right late before he was about to get hit. The ball slipped out of his hands. They scooped it up for a scoop and score, so they were up 17-12. I thought they might go for two. They didn't. And again, fourth quarter, we had our chances. We had probably 4 or 5 drives and moved the ball a little bit, but then always would stall out. Down late in the game, we took a sack, so it put us in like a 4th and 17. So we elected the punt since we had our 3 timeouts left there late in the fourth, and first down was a good stop, called timeout. Second down, stop, called timeout. Third down, we got the kid wrapped up in the backfield, and all the momentum was flocking toward him, and he breaks out the tackle and goes against the grain and goes 70 yards to put the game on ice.
Boy, tough one there. 24-12, the final. Yeah, and now week 4, you're going to prepare for Casey Westfield, another team that comes in at 0-3. So something's got to give between you two teams next week. That should be quite a battle on the road at Casey.
Yeah, we beat them the last 3 years, just like we had Robinson. But Casey's much improved. Coach Bonner, first year last year there, and they improved through the year. We saw on film, and last night they lost 21-7 to Newton, and Newton's pretty good. So they were in that ball game, and I know Casey will be a tough matchup for us, but just got to regroup and head back up there and see what we can do.
I saw a post that you made that you're kind of giving the guys some time off this morning from film and letting them rest up a little bit, huh?
Yeah, we kind of made a decision this year that Saturday morning films. I talk to other coaches and find out what they do, that sort of thing, and especially with the road games, we get back late, and with the huddle, it's a great deal, but about 3 in the morning it pops up and I'm asleep, and if we get up, I got the radio show here locally, and I've not seen the film, and we come in, we bring the kids in. Usually last year we did it at 8 o'clock on Saturday, and would watch film, but I'm watching it for the first time with them, and what we'd end up doing is meeting together again after school on Monday before we head back out in my classroom and watch film again. So some of these road games, we just go ahead and say, you know what, and last night we had quite a few bumps and bruises and some injuries to some kids, so let them sleep, I guess, today, and then give me a chance and the staff a chance to take a look at the film and then reassess it on Monday.
Sure. Well, hey, I also noticed we apparently missed your birthday. I saw I guess your wife came in and surprised you. Is that who that was? It brought you the balloons and stuff to school? That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, I turned 40, and I thought it was really weird. Of course, I spend a lot of time on the weekends. I could come in and get grading done or something like that, but she needed a story from the principal to keep me out, so he texts me and tells me that they fumigated the side of the hall or the high school for bugs. So and I had tests sitting on my desk to grade. I thought, oh man, I got to grade those tests. So I come in expecting to hold my breath and run in and get out, and like, man, it doesn't smell that bad in here. So I graded a little bit. She panicked, and but yeah, they got me out of here, and she filled my room full of balloons, and I guess not every day you turn 40. I'm just glad to make it to it.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure they all gave you a hard time then. That's great.
Yeah. Hold your breath, trying to
Stay away from the fumigation. That's funny.
Yeah, I know. Well, the thing of it is, I told the principal, I was like, when I left, I kind of felt a scratchy throat, and I thought, man, I stayed in here too long. And he started dying laughing. He's like, well, there's nothing in there. Is this a joke? I'm like, oh.
Oh, that's great, Brian. That's awesome. Good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we'll let you go and get rested up yourself and get prepared for Casey Westfield, and then best of luck, and hopefully you can pick up win number 1 next week on the road up there. All right.
Yeah, and be 1 and be 500 for the program. We're still chasing that. So
yeah. All right.
Hopefully we can get it. Thanks a lot.
All right. Appreciate your time. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That is Coach Brian Tackitt of the Flora Wolves. Again, they lost a tough one on the road last night at Robinson, 24-12. Kind of amazing that it didn't rain up there last night. That's about the only place I know of, or have heard of anyway, that it didn't rain last night, because that was tough playing some football in that weather last evening, that's for sure. Well, hey, we are out of time. That's going to wrap up today's edition of the Sports Couch. We appreciate all 5 coaches that have been with us this morning. Appreciate our sponsors, and thank you so much for listening and or watching this morning, either on AreaSports.net or on our website, or watching or listening here on 105.5 or 90.9 The Vine. We'll be back again next Saturday morning for 60 minutes of great local sports talk at 8:30. We do that all season long during the high school sports season. It's the Sports Couch. Hope you'll join us then as well. Have a good weekend, everybody, and be careful out there, and especially in those low-lying areas. Flash flooding is a real deal. You don't want to be caught unexpected there, all right? So stay safe. So long, everybody.
Local Christian radio with local people you know.
Accidents happen. It's part of life. But when an accident occurs with your car or truck, you can count on the professionals at Kessler Auto Body in Kessler. Whether you have a collision with a deer, a building, a parking post,